And now we have Alexander Roseborough. And Mr. Roseborough, it's an honor to have you on this radio show.
Mr. Leving, it's also an honor for me to be here today. I'm truly thankful for this opportunity. And I'd like to also thank Soul 106.3 for making this venue possible for us. I just walked in the door and listening to this great music, and immediately I'm patting my feet and rocking and everything. So this is all right for me today. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on this show.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. I just don't know why we can't have coffee in the studio. But I guess there's so many rules here, I'll have to find a lawyer to figure out how to change them. But I know you do a lot of good work for dads, and fathers, families in transition is such an intriguing name for a ministry. How did you choose this name for your organization, which actually is a very important ministry?
Well, when I say we, my boss, whom is my wife, my partner, we founded Fathers, Families in Transition back in 2002 in the little back bedroom of our apartment. And, I worked for a major organization, a nonprofit organization, and great organization. However, I just felt that there was something different I could do than the way I was required to provide services to non-custodial and custodial fathers. So we started Fathers, Families in Transition, better known as FIT, back in June of 2002. And our goal was to provide education, information, referral, and support services to these custodial and non-custodial fathers and the children and other members of the family. So that's what we've been doing.
Now, could you describe some of the very significant services you provide? There's so many of them, it'd be hard to go through every one, but what are some of the services you provide that are very dear and to you in helping fathers and people and children?
Well, one of the, if not the most dear service that we provide is we have a monthly fatherhood session, whereas we start out working and talking and helping fathers, disadvantaged fathers, in terms of learning how to have healthy relationships, and we start with learning how to have healthy relationships with ourselves, because we find that oftentimes if a father and even a mother sometimes if they don't know how to have healthy relationships with themselves, then it's very hard to have a healthy relationship with your child and or the significant other involved in the parenting relationship. So I would say that would be my pride and joy, being able to help men learn how to have healthy relationships with themselves and their children, and then anyone else who's involved in the familyhood structure.
Now, FFIT, since its inception in June of 2000, has been funded by small private donations and some fees for services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to thank you for your good work. Now we have Reverend Jesse Jackson here, and I'd like to welcome Reverend Jesse Jackson to the Jeffrey Leving Father's Rights Legal Show.
Well, Levin, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, it's great to hear your voice, and we have Alexander Roseborough here, who's president of Fathers, Families in Transition and a board member of the West Side Ministers Coalition. And it's great to have you on this show, and it's really an honor because I don't have to introduce you because everybody knows you for your great work. So
well, thank you so much.
So anything I would say, the listeners would already know.
And I say good afternoon, Reverend Jackson. This is truly an honor to be able to be a part of this with you today.
All right, friend.
Yeah, and Alexander Roseborough serves on the Council of Responsible Fatherhood with me, and he's also a good friend of mine. And his daughter has become a very well-known actress. She has appeared on The Prince of Bel-Air, and she's really grown. Unfortunately, it's moved her out of Chicago, but I'd just like to mention that. But Reverend Jackson, for those of us who stood by at the side of Dr. King, and we only wish that he would have been here to see the swearing in of Barack Obama. What do you think? What would Dr. King have said to Barack on the day that he was sworn in?
You know, first of all, he would have congratulated him for the accomplishment, but would remind him that there's unfinished business, the growing poverty in this country, and the wars that are expanding, because so long as you have these investment in wars, you don't have the money left to invest back home in health care, education, and housing. So he'd have been delighted of his victory, but he would have challenged him as he did Johnson and Kennedy and the rest of them.
Yeah. Do you know?